Life presents moments where the voice of God reaches us, not solely as a source of comfort, but also as a crucial warning. His messages are not always gentle. At times, they resonate like fire, thunder, or a sword, slicing through the veil of deception to reveal stark truths. As you navigate your spiritual journey, one of the hardest yet essential realities you must accept is this: not everyone in your family is destined to accompany you on your journey with God. Thus, today's discussion centers on 7 types of family members from whom God cautions you to distance yourself. This may be difficult to accept. Family ties are deeply sacred and meaningful. Yet even Jesus articulated in Matthew 10:36, "A man's enemies will be the members of his own household." In his divine wisdom, God recognizes that often those closest to us can divert us from his purpose and will. It's important not to perceive this as cruelty, but rather as a form of mercy akin to a father rescuing his child from a burning house before the flames can consume them. What I share today stems from revelation rather than bitterness. I encourage you to listen with an open heart, as these insights hold both warnings and hope. Together, let's explore these 7 types of family members. I invite you to pray quietly, asking, "Lord, open my eyes, show me if I have been blind. Give me the courage to heed your warnings," because what we are discussing is not merely a matter of maintaining peace during family gatherings. It pertains to the well-being of your eternal soul. *1. The manipulator*. The first type of family member to be wary of is the manipulative one, someone who distorts your love, guilt, and sense of obligation into chains that bind you. While they may seem caring, beneath the surface, they operate like puppet masters, pulling the strings of your choices. Their seemingly affectionate words are often tainted with an agenda of control. If you have ever felt suffocated in a relationship where saying no feels impossible, you understand the essence of this manipulation. God's design for love is liberation, not confinement. True love respects boundaries, but manipulators thrive on your vulnerabilities and your desire for affirmation. This may manifest as a parent who refuses to relinquish control of your decisions, treating you not as an independent believer, but as an extension of their own will. It could also appear as a sibling who entraps you using guilt, or even a relative who perpetually demands without ever expressing gratitude, gradually draining your spirit. God's word cautions us in the Galatians 5:1, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free." Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. Remember, a family member's manipulation can become a yoke that must be recognized and resisted. If necessary, take the step to walk away. By allowing manipulation to dominate your life, you forfeit guidance from the Spirit in exchange for being led by fear. Honoring your family doesn't equate to submitting to their sinful control. True honor is manifested through love, respect, and care, while always remaining steadfast to God's voice in your life. Your primary loyalty must be to the Lord above all. *2. The mocking skeptic*. The second type of family member is the one who mocks your faith. Their laughter can cut deeply, their sarcasm lingers like a poison in the air, belittling your prayers and ridiculing your devotion to God. This kind of pain is very real for many. Perhaps it's a brother who calls you naive, a parent who dismisses your faith as a mere crutch, or an aunt who insists that religion is nothing more than tradition. Each time they speak, a battle rages within you. Should you maintain silence or defend the one you hold dear? Jesus warned us in John 15:18-19, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." Sometimes the world takes on the face of those with whom you share meals. Their ridicule is more than just a challenge to your faith. It is a rebellion against the Spirit of God residing within you. You must learn to guard your heart. Constant exposure to an atmosphere of scorn will eventually erode your confidence in God, perhaps leading you to dilute your prayers, soften your testimony, or dim your light to avoid their mockery. However, this process equates to a slow death of your spiritual fervor. C.S. Lewis warned that the path to ruin is often gradual and unremarkable slope without sudden turns. The mockery of loved ones can be this gentle descent. While they may not have malicious intent, their ridicule acts like a constant drip of water that hollows out stone. God's warning is clear. Do not let ridicule silence you. It is better to stand alone in faith than to sit at a crowded table where God is scorned. When you feel the sting of their laughter, remind yourself that you share in the sufferings of Christ, and with those sufferings comes the promise of eternal glory. Asterisk 3. The abuser asterisk. The third family member to beware of is the one who inflicts wounds, not just with hurtful words but also through harmful actions and relentless cruelty. Abuse, in any form whether physical, emotional, or psychological, is never from God, regardless of its nature. Shaming, belittling, or actively harming it is evil and contrary to God's will. Many Christians struggle with the concept of forgiveness, believing they must forgive endlessly. While forgiveness is a sacred duty, it does not equate to enduring abuse. God never intended for you to remain shackled in an environment that destroys you. Psalm 11:5 states, "The Lord examines the righteous, but the wicked, those who love violence, He hates with a passion." If you find yourself experiencing or witnessing violence within your family, hear this: this is not God's intent for your life. His warning is urgent. You need to seek safety and trust Him to heal your wounds. Remaining in the presence of abuse does not create righteousness. It only diverts you from fulfilling the destiny God has designed for you. The thought of leaving may be frightening, given that family should be a sanctuary. Still, when God prompts you to separate, He does not abandon you. Rather, He leads you out, just as He did for Israel escaping Egypt. The chains may feel heavy, but His hand is more potent. Do not let fear bind you. The God who calls you out will accompany you through the wilderness. You may lose comfort and face misunderstandings, yet you will gain freedom. In that freedom, you will rediscover the dignity of being His beloved child. Asterisk 4. The tempter asterisk. The fourth type of family member to avoid is the one who encourages sin. This individual may not present themselves as an enemy. Indeed, they might greet you with a warm smile and a friendly demeanor. Yet, the moment you declare your faith, they test its strength, whispering temptations like, "Just one more drink?" or "Just one small compromise?" They invite you to lessen your standards, bend God's commands, and trade holiness for fleeting pleasure. While they might perceive these actions as harmless or fun, to God, they are perilous. Sin, even in its most minor guise, is likened to yeast. It spreads, grows, and ultimately corrupts. Look to the example of Lot's wife in Genesis 19, who was warned to flee Sodom and not look back. Clinging to the sin of the city led to her demise. A family member who encouraged you toward sin functions like the seductive voice of Sodom calling you backward. If you linger in such temptations, you risk losing everything. C.S. Lewis once articulated that temptation often whispers rather than roars. He wrote, "Good and evil both increase at compound interest, which is why the little decisions we make daily hold such significance. Permit yourself to be influenced by small compromises, and you pave the way for substantial downfalls. Do not let familial bonds blind you. If someone in your family consistently distracts you from prayer, purity, or God's presence, be vigilant. Love them, yes. Pray for them, absolutely. But guard your heart fiercely. When necessary, create distance to shield yourself from their influence. Your spiritual well-being far outweighs a moment of compromise. Asterisk 5. The bitter one asterisk. The fifth type of family member to be cautious of is the one consumed by bitterness. Their words drip with resentment, and their attitude is colored by envy. Every family gathering may devolve into an opportunity for their complaining and criticism, which can drag others down into their abyss of negativity. Bitterness is infectious. Spend too much time with a bitter person, and you may find yourself engulfed in their negativity. Complaining more and doubting more, your joy can be steadily siphoned away by their resentment. Hebrews 12:15 warns, "See to it that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no bitter root grows up to cause trouble and defile many." A bitter family member can poison an entire household, sowing conflict, eroding trust, and creating division. Bitterness often stems from old wounds, inheritance disputes, jealousy over achievements, unresolved past hurts, or can arise simply from a heart unwilling to forgive. Regardless of its roots, God's warning remains unchanged. Beware of bitterness's influence. You are not called to partake in its toxins. You are invited to drink from the wells of salvation, If you sense bitterness attempting to infiltrate your spirit, step back and protect your heart. Surround yourself with uplifting influences, worship, gratitude, and the words of those who inspire rather than poison. Pray that God may soften their hearts, but never allow their bitterness to drown your faith. Asterisk 6. The spiritually dead. Asterisk. The sixth type of family member deserving of caution is the spiritually dead, someone who may seem alive in the flesh but remains utterly unresponsive to the spirit. They are not necessarily mocking or hostile toward your beliefs. They might even be polite. However, their presence burdens you with a sense of emptiness. These individuals dwell solely on material possessions, status, and outward appearances, lacking any desire for spiritual depth, longing for God, or yearning for eternity. Their conversations revolve around worldly success and comfort, which can slowly numb your soul to the yearning for truth and divine purpose. God warns against this in Revelation 3:1, where he speaks to the church in Sardis. I know your deeds. You have a reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Surrounding yourself with spiritually dead family members can impede your growth because spiritual death is contagious.